Good morning and welcome at this ORTEC webinar. The subject of this webinar is how to master your multi-site planning with a focus on the catering branch. Today, we're going to show you how to use ORTEC Workforce scheduling to maximize your workforce capacity by optimizing your planning. And while doing so, taking into account your business goals, but also your employee satisfaction. Before we go further into that, we want to start with a short introduction of ourselves, starting with Wessel.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Wessel Winkelhuizen. I work for ORTEC since 1999, so more than 26 years already. Always in the field of workforce management, and currently have the role as industry leader for facility services. Facility services is security, cleaning, and catering. So that's why I'm joining this session today. And besides that, I'm a business consultant providing services to customers to help them optimizing their planning process.
Yeah, my name is Paul Alsemgeest, account manager, starting 2012. So 13 years right now with ORTEC. And my one and only function in ORTEC is account manager. And before we start, we have some points we want to take to share with you. If you want to keep posted by ORTEC, just look at our event page on ortec.com, where you also can sign in for our newsletters at marketing via mail or via the website. If you can join our webinars in the future because of your busy schedule, please sign up and we send the recording afterwards. And you can also share that with your colleagues as well. Other important thing is if you have some question, put them in the Q&A at the top of your screen. We will answer them at the end of the presentation. So if you have question, just type them into the Q&A button at the top of your screen, and we will come back at the end of the webinar for that. So then I will give the floor to Wessel.
Thank you, Paul, for the introduction. Today I would like to show you a software demonstration of ORTEC Workforce scheduling, mastering your multi-location planning process. But before that, I would like to share some trends and challenges in the facility services industry, and especially focused on catering. So looking at the trends, we saw three different areas: organization, employees, and planning. And one of the main difficulties for organizations is that there's a lot of shortage on staff available in the field. So that's almost in every industry, that's currently the situation. So it's really important to keep employees happy and connected to your organization to prevent that they leave to work for another company, maybe a competitor, maybe another industry. And another thing is that about 25% of the needed workforce consists of temporary employees. So there should be an integration with temp agencies as well to make sure that the planning process runs smoothly. If we look at the employees, it turns out that a lot of employees, it says here 23% of them, want to work more hours per week. So it's really important to know that from your employees to make sure that they can apply for additional work or can indicate that they are available on certain days that they're normally not working. And the last one in the employee section, 8% of the employees want to work more than 10 hours per week extra. So there's a kind of hidden capacity available within your organization, which can help you to cope with the shortage on staff, to make sure that your own employees work more hours. If you look at the planning part, it came to our attention that 25% of the organizations violate working time regulations, so in Dutch, arbeidstijdenwet, and payment obligations based on the collective labor agreements. Also really important is the labor productivity and wage cost, because in this sub-industry there are really low profit margins. So this is about the trends that we see in the catering industry. If you look at the challenges, here we see quite some of them. I'm not going to discuss them all, but I will highlight some of them. So in the catering industry, we see companies with a lot of different locations. It can go up to 500 different locations in the Netherlands or in the country you are in, where people work at locations of your customers. And because they're working at locations of your customers, it's also quite challenging to keep people engaged, top right, to make sure that they are connected to your organization and not only to your customer's organization. And that's all related to the customer locations they work for. Like I mentioned in the trends, employee availability, lack of knowledge about that is also a challenge. And of course, you can ask people to join you creating schedules, and I will tell you more about that later. But it could also be helpful to use kind of shift bidding module to indicate that you want to work an extra shift when this is available. The bottom left, you see the balance of trade-offs between budgets, cost, and service levels. As you can imagine, if your expected revenue is high, then you want to assign as much people as needed to make sure that you get that revenue in a certain week, and that you do not overspend your budget. So if there's a slow week ahead, then it shouldn't be the case that you have 5 people available at your location instead of only 3, for example. Like I mentioned, temp agencies are also really important for this industry to make sure that the peaks can be met. So cost of temp agencies should be controlled well in that matter. And at the bottom right, you see the forecast. What we see in catering is that most companies, have a forecasting in place where they forecast the revenue per day, and based on that, we can translate that in a number of demanded shifts or demanded employees to make sure that you have enough people available. If we go on with the learning loop, this is a picture that ORTEC presented a couple of years ago, and it's about the pre-operations process, where we do the demand forecast, we estimate the required capacity in the prepare phase. So the predict phase is the forecast demand, and the prepare phase is the capacity estimation. After that, we go to operations, and we're going to plan the people on the shifts that are needed. And during execution phase, people can register their actual working hours, and they can step in for overtime. As soon as the operation is done, we can monitor this operation, and this leads to insights and to improvements in this cycle. So it's a kind of infinity loop where we start from predict, prepare to plan, execute, monitor, and then to the improve step, and then we start this cycle again. This improvement is not only about the predict phase, of course, it can also be something in the execution phase or the plan phase. And now ORTEC Workforce Scheduling. I'm not sure if you are familiar with that. It's an integrated solution optimizing employees' availabilities and customers' needs, so your customers' needs, while preparing for invoicing and payroll. Creating the schedules can be done with our optimizer to make sure that people that are available are scheduled, taking into account labor rules, for example. And it's an improved employee happiness by encouraging cooperation between planners and employees while keeping track of the costs. So now I want to switch over to the application itself. Let's see if that will work. 1 second. So now I'm logged in as a planner, and I think it's good to know that I have a setup of 4 catering locations. You can see them right here. I selected the 4th location, and we have a region taking care of all these 4 locations. And how that works, I will come to that later. If we log in, we see the dashboard for the planner, and we can see here the challenges for today. So here you can see there's no understaffing, there's no overstaffing, so that's good. Nobody is on leave, and there's 1 person sick at the moment, and this person is shown here already since quite some time. Wilma Breton is called in sick in 2024, and this will be reflected in the schedule later on. On the right, we see the different schedules, and I will come to that later when we open the plan board, because there are some other tiles that are important. Here on the left, you see the employee realizations. The employee realizations are entered by the employees. That's mostly done in the catering business, that people indicate that they worked an hour extra or an hour less, or they started earlier, something like that. So they submitted a change in the realization, and then as a manager, I have to approve that change to make sure that this new information is handled by the remuneration calculation, the pre-payroll calculation. At the bottom in the middle, we see the open swap request. So this is an indication that 2 people, Ruben and Christine, want to swap their shifts on December 12th. So that's the end of this week. And they did that, they agreed on that on December 2, so last week. And I still have to approve that swap. We also have customers that allow people to swap by themselves without interference of the planner or the catering manager taking care of the planning. And on the right, we see the different leave request and special leave indicated. And now you can see that Ruben Powers also requested leave next week. If we go on with the schedule, so for example, if we open the schedule for this week, it may be good to know, you see week intervals right now, but it's also possible to use 4-week periods, monthly periods, or whatever you like. And that can be done within your own organization for everybody the same, or it can be different per department. If you go on with opening the schedule, going to switch to another grouping. So here we see on the left the different employees with their contract hours, the number of hours they still have to work during this time window, this week, how they are doing this year. So you can see that, well, it's a demo environment, so it's not close to 0 at the moment because I didn't create schedules for the entire year. And at the end, we see the leave balance, 212 hours for Christine Aguiar. Also worth mentioning is the grouping. So I have 2 people that can operate as chef, and I have a number of people that can operate as catering employees. In the center here, there we see the shifts that have been scheduled for these employees. We see the shift name. So I named them to the catering location. So here we see C4 shift number 2, and here we see C4 shift number 11 for catering location 4. And we also see a chef shift, which is only scheduled for the chef people. So if I drag this to another person, which doesn't have the qualification, you immediately see an orange indication. Oh, I see this part is in Dutch, sorry for that. And this indicates that this person is not allowed to do this shift. We also see some backgrounds. Wilma Breton was the person that was called in sick a long time ago, and she has some dashed background color. And we also see here with Christine that she has a day off on the 12th, so this Friday. Also, something special is that Linda Wells also joined this catering location for one day. She normally works for catering location 3, but for now she will step in on Friday for a shift starting at 12:30 till 4:30 in the afternoon. In the vacant shift section, that's on the bottom of your screen, you see the shifts that still need to be scheduled. And I can schedule those shifts by dragging them to the schedule. And then the calculations will be recalculated on the left. As you can see, I have an overspending of 8 hours right now for this week. And if it's the case, then we also see violations of the labor rules, not by a orange corner flag, but with a red corner flag. We also have a section about staffing, where you can see the number of shifts that are actually required. So in this case, we have 2 shifts planned and 3 shifts required. So I have a lack of 1 shift, and that's why it's turned red. And that was also available in the vacant shift section to be scheduled. And in the count section, it's about budget and cost, for example. So I indicated based on my expected revenue, how much budget I have each day. So on Wednesday, I have more budget than on Tuesday. And I can see what the costs are. And then I can get an indication about the result for this catering location on a certain day. And as you can see, on Sunday, we are overspending, most likely due to irregular hour bonuses, shift allowances that are extra on Sunday. We can do that budgeting, we can do that in euros, but it can also be in hours. So it depends on your needs, how we configure this in the system. If you go back to the vacant shift section, then you also could open shifts for bidding, and that means that you can select a shift and offer the shift to the employees, and all employees that are allowed to do this shift based on the qualifications, they will receive a notification on their mobile phone, and they can indicate if they want to carry out this shift. More about that later on. Then we go on with a schedule of, let's see, next week. And here we have the situation that we only see, now Wilma Breton is still ill, as you can imagine, and Ruben Powers has three days off in December. And we see all vacant shifts at the bottom. So as I showed earlier, you can just drag and drop these shifts into the schedule to create a schedule. But of course, at ORTEC, we like to optimize stuff, and we can also use an optimizer to create the schedule. I will do that right now. And during this optimization, it takes into account labor rules, skills, contract hours, availability of employees. So in this case, nobody indicated that they are not available. I will show you that in a minute, how that works. And using this optimizer, you can create a schedule for your own location. So this is a possibility when you have decentral planners or catering managers that are fully responsible for creating schedules and maintaining them. And as you can see, you see a score here at the center of the screen. And this score indicates how good the schedule is, because we are not only looking at labor rules and skills, but we are also looking at scheduling criteria. So for example, a full-time employee wants to work 4 to 6 shifts in a row, and a part-time employee wants to work 2 to 3 shifts in a row. So that's different. And most likely they all don't want to work they call it a solo shift, a shift that's standalone in the schedule. So you have a day off, you work 1 shift, and you have a day off again. I'm just going to stop the optimizer right now. then I have to push the other button. So this is more optimizing your decentral location. But as mentioned by Paul in the beginning, this webinar was about multi-site, multi-locations optimization. And to do so, we move over to the region schedule. And we go to the last schedule that's available. Going to change the grouping a bit. And here you can see all people that work for the catering locations within your region. So currently I have 4, but I can imagine that you have groups of 150 to 200 people approximately that are placed in one central department, taking care of different locations. And all these people, it's also important that they can influence the schedule as well, so that they can indicate when they are not available for work. So all people, or almost all people, indicated some days that they are not available, indicated by this, what is it, orange coloring. James Clark from Catering 3 is also ill, as you can see. And as you can see here at the bottom, the staffing, the number of shifts on Christmas is little bit less, because some locations are closed during this Christmas holidays. And as you can see, Christmas is highlighted well here at the top, and here you can see that's Boxing Day, and you can also see this is a holiday, a public holiday on these 2 days for this organization. So if you look at this schedule, I think it's wise to understand that, for example, for catering location 1, Bobby Sizer works 2 days, but actually the C1 shift is requested more. So so here you see C1 is also requested for Tuesday, and probably also for some other days. So in this case, she is not available, because we agreed that if you indicate that you're not available, we really try to create a schedule where you are not scheduled for that day. So it would be nice if another person from another location is assigned to this C1 shift. And we're going to test that with the optimizer. I'm going to optimize this schedule again. So the same story as I just told you. It's taking into account the labor rules, the skill requirements. In this case, it also takes into account the preferred locations. So if a catering colleague working for Catering 2 really wants to work for Catering 2, and they are okay with working for Catering 3, we can indicate that. And we can also indicate that the person is not allowed to work on a different location, maybe because something happened between the manager and this employee in the past, and that you well, it's better not to work together again. And of course, you have to talk with people in this kind of situations. Here you also see that the score is changing a little bit. Before looking at the time, I'm going to stop the optimization. And now we can verify if it happened what I said before, that people are scheduled on different locations than their own location, so to say. So the C1 shift from the 23rd, it's assigned to Linda Wells. She works normally on catering location 3. And here we see a catering 3 shift placed by the person with catering 2 as a preferred location. So here you can also see that this C3 shift couldn't be placed in this area because there are 2 people that indicated they want to have a day off. So that's not the same as a day of leave of absence. It's just indicating that you want to be free, like your if you have an office job, then your weekend days that you are off. So this is how it works when you are creating schedules for multiple locations at the same time. We do that often at customers where the local catering manager keeps being responsible for the day-to-day operations on the day itself to indicate or to accept realizations that were added by the employees. Looking at the time, I'm going to show you employee self-service for a little bit, not everything. So employee self-service is the application or the app that's available for employees. And it shows the employee schedule, for example. So here you can see that I have to work today. Currently, I just started my shift at catering location 4. And I have to work tomorrow again. Then I have 2 days off, and then I have to work the weekend again. Earlier during the demo, I indicated that there was a vacant shift, and I liked to assign it to one of the employees, and I asked them to join there. And then I can open the open shift for bidding area section. Oh, here it is. So here you can see that there are 2 shifts available. One long shift from 8 hours work and one short shift for 4 hours. And I can indicate, because it's already on Thursday, that I want to pick the shift. So assume that I would like to work this shift. Well, I can imagine I have something to do in the morning, so I just pick the late shift. And now you will see that this shift is also scheduled in my schedule. So this is the case where you ask people to help you out with a planning issue, and where they are able to pick the shift by themselves. It's also possible to indicate that they are available to do the shift. So for example, a little bit in the future, or when they already met their contract hours. Then you can indicate that you would like to do the shift, and then it's up to the planner to decide who is actually going to do the shift. I also mentioned that people are able to indicate when they are available for work or not. So that can be done in the availability section, where you can indicate that you are not available in the morning, for example, on the Sunday, the 1st of February. You're not available in the afternoon, and on the 5th you are not available for the entire day. So this is how, it's quite easy to indicate when you are not available in a period of time in the future. So before creating the schedule, you make sure that all employees indicate their unavailabilities, and then you can take care of that using the optimizer. There are some other features also available in this schedule. I would like to show a couple of them. I mentioned that you can enter a realization to indicate that you work an extra hour or so, or let's say I work till, so this is a long shift for 10 hours. And now you will see in the workforce scheduling for team schedulers, for the manager, that there will be a realization to be approved. And I also mentioned earlier that people can swap their shift. So for example, on the 13th I have a shift and I want to request a swap. Then I can indicate that I want to swap shifts with Bruce, for example, and send a request. And then after his approval, this swap request will be represented in the dashboard of the employee. Looking at the shift bidding stuff, you can imagine that when you have an open shift in your catering location, it can be handy that people from other locations can bid on that shift as well. So that's also taking care of the central department functionality. It's not only about your own location, but you can manage that at the other locations as well. This is about what I wanted to show you today. I'm not sure, Paul, if there are any questions already in the chat, in the Q&A box.
No.
So maybe it was clear for everybody, or maybe you can enter your question right away if you have any. So looking at this setup for central departments, you can imagine that it's also economically a good idea to share resources or employees within your locations to make sure that you prevent that you hire a temp agency worker at a certain location while you have capacity available at another location, or even better, you have a person available that just wants to work an extra shift to earn some more money, and that way you can prevent that he or she is leaving for another company where more hours can be made. I'm not sure, Paul, are there any questions?
No, I'm not seeing anything. No posts yet. So
okay, well then I think we are done for today. I would like to thank you for your attention and your presence in this webinar. Make sure that you keep track of other webinars that we will organize in the future, and thanks for joining.
thank you very much.